Bonjour et bienvenue sur French Lover. Hello and welcome to French Lover. Today we are going to learn the verb habiter. The verb habiter. That's to live. The verb to live, habiter. Okay? So let's go. Habiter, le verbe habiter, the verb to live. J'habite, I live or I'm living. Tu habites, tu habites, you live or you are living. Make the H silent in your mouth, okay? It's like habite. Forget about the H, okay? Il ou elle habite. He or she lives. Il habite, he lives or he is living. Elle habite, she lives or she is living. On habite, we live, and I told you the first we is informal way of saying we, okay? Nous habitons, we live, still we, but this type is a formal way of saying we. On is really informal, like you want to say like you and your friends, we are going out, okay? On sort. Moi et mes amis, on sort. You can use that. Nous sortons, it sounds a little bit more formal, but it's still correct. It's not wrong, okay? But on is an informal way of talking. So, nous habitons, we live or we are living. Vous habitez, you live or you are living. Il habite, okay, don't pronounce the NT. Il habite, they live or they are living for the masculine. Elle habite, they live, still they live or they are living, but this time for feminine, like group of girls, okay? Il with the S, group of boys. Elle with the S, group of girls, okay? So let's do it again. J'habite, tu habites, il habite, elle habite, elle habite, nous habitons, on habite, skip that, on habite, nous habitons, vous habitez, il habite, elle habite. Okay, so let's go to some sentences, les phrases. If you want to ask somebody, where do you live? Okay, where are you living in French? You say, où habites-tu? Où habites-tu? Où habites-tu? Or, tu habites où? Tu habites où? Où habites-tu? Où habites-tu? It sounds like who beat you, but it's okay. Où habites-tu? Où habites-tu? Tu habites où? Where do you live? Où habites-tu? Tu habites où? Tu habites où? Where are you living? Now, if you live in Nigeria like I do right now, j'habite au Nigeria. J'habite au Nigeria. J'habite au Nigeria. I live in Nigeria. J'habite au Nigeria. J'habite au Nigeria. Et toi, où habites-tu? Et toi, où habites-tu? And you, where do you live? Et toi, and you, où habites-tu? Where do you live? Or et toi, tu habites où? And you, where do you live? And the person will reply, moi, that's as for me, j'habite en Tunisie. I live in Tunisia. J'habite en Tunisie. I live in Tunisia. Okay, if you noticed, there is a difference when I said I live in Nigeria. Okay, so there's a difference when I said I live in Nigeria and then the other person said I live in Tunisia. Okay, the difference is when I say Nigeria, I use O as EU, O Nigeria. But the person who said lives in Tunisia use on. That's en, on. Okay, so there are some rules to follow when telling someone from where you're coming from. Okay, so whenever you want to talk about living in a city, a town, or a state, you use the word a. Okay, a. Be that a city, a town, okay, or a state, you use a. For example, tu habites à Texas. You live in Texas. It doesn't matter if the place is feminine or masculine, or it doesn't matter, okay? As long as it's a city, a town, or a state, as long as it's not a country, you use a everywhere. So if you live in maybe California, you say j'habite à Californie, California. It'll be a everywhere. But whenever you want to talk about living in a country, okay, now in a country it becomes a little bit tricky, but it's not difficult. You use on, that's en, for countries ending with letter E, okay? Ending with letter E in French. Don't confuse it, okay? Like France, Italy, China. You know, China in English ends with the letter A. But China in French, we end with the letter E, okay? Making it definitely you're using on, or a feminine country. So for countries ending with letter E, like France, Italy, China, you will use on, okay? You want to say, I live in China. J'habite en Chine, okay? En Chine. Now, O, that's AU, for countries that don't end with a letter E. For countries that don't end with a letter E when translated already in French. Okay? Like Ghana, Nigeria, Japan. That's for Japan. Okay? So if you want to say you live in Ghana, you say j'habite au Ghana. If you live in Japan, j'habite au Japon. Okay, if you live in Nigeria like I do right now, you say j'habite au Nigeria. Okay, Cameroon is another one. It ends with a OUN. So you want to say I live in Cameroon, j'habite au Cameroon. Okay, so don't forget AU. O is for countries that doesn't end with a letter E. Okay, like the other countries. Now AUX for countries written in a plural form, like the United States, États-Unis, United States is in plural form. Caribbeans, the Caribbeans, it ends with an S. Okay, les Caraïbes is Caribbeans. Then we have an African country called Seychelles. Seychelles ends with an S, so plural form. Okay, so whenever it's in the plural form, you use AUX, still sound as O. J'habite aux États-Unis. I live in the United States of America. So note, all these things means in. But which in do you use? You use a when you talk about cities, towns, or states. Okay, j'habite à Lagos. Okay, j'habite à Abuja. Okay, then you use O when you talk about countries that don't end with letter E, like j'habite au Nigeria. Okay, j'habite au Togo. J'habite au Ghana. Then you use en, en, when you talk about countries that end with the letter E, when it's already translated, remember, already translated in French, like France, j'habite en France, like Italy, j'habite en Italie, China, j'habite en Chine, Korea, j'habite en Corée. Okay, so note it. Then the last one, O, AUX, for countries that are written in the plural form. Okay, like the États-Unis as United States of America, Caribbean, Seychelles. Okay, they also have the the Royaumes-Unis, that is United Kingdoms, okay, is in plural form, so you use it. They also have United Arab Emirates, okay. As long as in the plural form, you use O, that's AUX. So note it, don't forget. It's simple, it's just for you to note them, okay. So we have some sentences here. Some sentences like j'habite à Londres. J'habite à Londres. I live in London. Remember, you use a for a city, for a town, or for a state, okay. J'habite à Londres. I live in London. Tu habites aux États-Unis. Tu habites aux États-Unis. You live in the United States. You use O because États-Unis is a country and is in the plural form. Okay, tu habites aux États-Unis. You live in the United States. Okay, il habite au Maroc. This O is AU only. Okay. Okay, so tu habites aux États-Unis. We said that. Elle habite au Maroc. She lives in Morocco, Maroc. Au Maroc. It doesn't end with the letter E, so you use O. She lives in Morocco. On habite en France. On habite en France. We live in France. On habite en France. We live in France. France ends with letter E, so we use en. Nous habitons en Italie. Nous habitons en Italie. We live in Italy. Okay, it ends with a letter E in French. Remember, you have to translate the name of the country in French for you to know which in you are using. Okay. Nous habitons en Italie. We live in Italy. Vous habitez au Nigeria. You live in Nigeria. Nigeria doesn't end with the letter E, so you use O, okay, and it's not plural, so you use the one with AU. Vous habitez au Nigeria. You live in Nigeria. Ils habitent à New York. Ils habitent à New York. Okay, they live in New York. New York is a place, city. I don't know if it's a city or a state. So you use a. Remember, a for every city, every town, every state. You use a. Ils habitent à New York. They live in New York. Elles habitent à New York. They live in New York. So those are the rules that you have to use, okay? And then I've put some exercises for you to check. And you have to complete the sentences with the correct answer, okay, with the correct in French, be that a or on or o or o with the x, okay. So try and do it, and then comment the answers to the question. Then the next video, that is going to be on the verb vivre. That's also the verb to live. I'm going to give you the difference between habiter and vivre, okay, in that video, so don't miss it. And in that video, I'm also going to talk about the different parts of the house, okay, the common parts that we know, and in the different names of or types of houses we live in, like in an apartment, story building, a bungalow. Some of them will come up, okay. So the answers to these questions will be in that video with the verb vivre and the parts of a house, okay. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, most importantly, okay. And if you have any questions, anything you didn't understand, you can always comment it. I check everybody's comments, okay. So au revoir.